Hi everyone and welcome to another Hungry Heavy Crafts video. Today I have a shaker card for you and it says sending love and hugs, and it has this cute little bunny on it, which is one of the Mama Elephant stamp designs from the Up and Away collection. Now for a shaker card there's a lot of die cutting to start off with, so I'm using my Fawn stitch rectangles dies here. I'm using the largest rectangle in the large set to cut out some white cardstock and also a piece of acetate, and that's going to be my backer and then the clear part of the shaker. And now to create the frame I'm using two rectangles together and I'm holding them in place with some post-it note tape. So now I've got this frame here and that will go around the outside of my shaker card. Now I'm actually going to be using some other designs and cutting out some die cuts to use in my shaker. So I'm going to actually just use this little piece, this little rectangle that comes out of it, so I don't want to waste any. So let's line up these dies, and these clouds and little sun die is also from Fawn. I think it's called Summer Skies or something like that. Now whenever I got my Mama Elephant Up and Away stamp set, I stamped a couple of these little cuties and coloured them in one day in front of the TV. That's the stamp set there, but I'm going to be using this little bunny today. I'm not going to be showing you the colouring in. I've showed that in some of the other videos, which you can take a look at, but here he is coloured in and I've run him through the Cuttlebug with the coordinating die. Now I'm going to be working on the backer sheet or the background of my shaker, and I'm using this stamp by October Afternoon. It's like a big sunburst, and I'm going to create an orangey coloured starburst or sunburst using my Simon Says Stamp Sunshine ink pad. And I've inked it up, flipped it over, and I'm going to put a lot of pressure on this, rubbing it all over to make sure that there's a nice crisp image. And I'm really impressed with these ink pads, the Simon Says Stamps ones. I think they work really well, especially for big images like this. Now I've moved on to my little sun, and I'm going to colour it in using some distress inks. First of all, some mustard seed to get some yellow all around my sun. And then I'm going to build up some darker orangey tones in the middle using wild honey first of all to blend that out, and then a little bit of ripe persimmon in the middle. Now my sun is going to go in the middle where all those little sunbursts meet, but I didn't want it to be stark white, so I'm bringing a little bit of the yellow colour into the middle there, and then I will continue to build up my background. Before I went any further in the background, I really wanted the frame in place, so I'm sticking the acetate to the frame, and then I can position it over the background. And I'm actually going to stamp my greeting now, so then once I know where the greeting is, I will know exactly where I want to put the sun. I don't want the greeting to go over the top of the sun, you see. I'm holding the frame in place with some washi tape. I just removed some of the sticky off it by rubbing it on my hand, and that means that it's not going to tear the paper whenever I pull it off. I've decided to use this stamp set here that says Hugs and Kisses. It's an Inkylicious stamp set, and it's not new, it's very old, but I'm going to pair that up with the Sending stamp from Simon Says Stamp. Because I'm stamping on acetate, I'm going to be using my white Stays On ink, and with the Stays On you pretty much do need to ink it up every time you use it, and to be honest I haven't really used my Stays On in quite a while, probably years, and I took a spare piece of acetate to test drive it because the top layer of my Stays On ink pad was quite hard. It didn't have that same spongy texture that I remember it having. So I stamped it. It wasn't perfect, but I think it was probably the best I was going to get. I think I need to buy a new one. I'm just propping that up onto my acrylic blocks to dry. I didn't want it to smudge. Now I'm going to build the actual frame up with some foam tape, and I'm using some foam tape and cutting it in half with my scissors, and I'm using the Tim Holtz Craftonic scissors because they have the black sort of non-stick coating on it, and it's much easier to cut. I've doubled up my foam tape to make sure there's enough room for all the little beads and sequins that I want to use. And then whilst holding my frame over the top of the background, I'm going to start playing with all my little die cut shapes. So I've got my little bunny already, but I thought it'd be really cool if the little bunny was holding some balloons. So I used this balloon image from that same stamp set, stamped it with some tuxedo black Memento Tuxedo Black ink onto some Nina Solar White cardstock, and I'm using my Spectrum Noir colouring pencils to colour in these balloons. I'm not taking a very long time over it. I'm just using pretty much one, maybe two colours for each of the balloons because the image is actually really, really tiny. And after I had coloured in each of the balloons, I went back over it with a paper stump and some blending solution, and that smooths out the image, and it'll match my little bunny because he's been blended with the same solution as well. Now these balloons also have a coordinating die, which makes it really simple to run through the die cutting machine, and then it's ready to go. So the balloons are going to go up here, the bunny's down below, and in a minute you'll see how I stamp the strings. But first let's secure some of these clouds below the bunny. And I'm just layering that up with some tape runner. So I want to actually stamp the strings onto the acetate, and so I've put an acrylic block behind the shaker card. I have my foam tape in place, so if I just stamped on it right now, the acetate would bend down. So the acrylic block underneath creates a hard surface for me to stamp onto. And you can see I don't need all of it, I just need the strings. So I've stamped it onto the acetate. I'm going to line up my balloons on top, and then I can position my bunny. But first of all, I'm going to adhere these things inside the shaker card. For the sunshine, I realized that if I was sticking it inside the shaker card, perhaps some of the little sequins could get stuck behind each of those sunbursts. So I ran it through my Xyron sticker maker, which you rub over the top, and it basically turns your die cut into a sticker. So let's stick this sun here. And I've got a couple of extra little clouds that I cut out to go in front, and I also cut a few pieces of vellum with that same cloud die. Now usually with vellum you can see the glue, so I'm just going around the outside, and you can't really see it then whenever it's stuck. It just looks like it's hidden behind the stitching. So this is what the card looks like so far, and I'm quite happy with that. And my little bunny will go here. So I'm sticking down my little bunny with some little small 1mm depth foam pads or foam squares. And there's already quite a lot of bulk in a shaker card, so I didn't want it to be too much, so the 1mm is just the perfect amount, I think. Now sometimes the bits inside your shaker card can stick to any adhesive in the inside. So I've tapped my anti-static embossing bag onto my craft mat to expose some powder, and using a little brush I'm dusting the inside of my card, and this will hopefully get rid of any residual adhesive. For this shaker card I went all out. There is star sequins, there's beads, There's little sequins that I bought off eBay that are for your nails, and then I just decided to go for it and add some extra colors as well of my mixed pack of sequins. And I think it looks really cute. So here's the finished card. I did actually stick it onto a folded note card, but that's pretty straightforward. So that's my little bunny shaker card today. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for watching the video. Give me a thumbs up if you like it, and be sure to come over and visit me at hungryheffycrafts.com for more crafty goodness. Have a great day.